'Twas a queer, sultry summer. The summer they electrocuted the Rosenbergs. And I didn't know what I was doing in New York. I'm stupid about executions. The thought of being electrocuted makes me sick, and there was nothing else to read about in the papers. It had nothing to do with me, but I couldn't help wondering what it would feel like. Being burned alive. All along your nerves. I thought it must be the worst thing in the world. Esther Greenwood is like any young college student, anxious and unsure. While these feelings are normal, Esther's emotions are far more complex, and her mind is far from healthy. Sylvia Plath's character is fictional, but the mental illness that Esther faces is true to the author's own experiences. Using Esther as her voice, Plath gives us a vivid example of what it is like to be taken hostage by your own mind, and to feel as though you are trapped underneath. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. I was supposed to be having the time of my life. I was supposed to be the envy of thousands of other college girls just like me all over America. Look what can happen in this country, they'd say. A girl lives in some out-of-the-way town for 19 years. So poor, she can't afford a magazine. And then she gets a scholarship to college and ends up steering New York like her own private car. Only I wasn't steering anything. Not even myself. I didn't know what time it was. The phone rang. Hello, JC here. I wondered if you happened to be planning to come into the office today. When I made my entrance into the office at about 10 o'clock, JC stood up and came round her desk to shut the door. Doesn't your work interest you, Esther? It does. It does. It interests me very much. Well, glad of that. What do you have in mind after you graduate? I don't really know. I don't know. You'll never get anywhere like that. Don't let the wicked city get you down. I thought I would spend the summer writing my thesis. Then I would be way ahead when college started at the end of September. Then I thought that I might put off school for a year and apprentice myself to a pottery maker. Or work my way toward Germany. Plan after plan started leaping through my head. I decided to junk my thesis. I decided to junk the whole program. I thought I'd better go to work for a year and think things over. I could be a waitress or a typist. But I couldn't stand the idea of being either one. You say you want more sleeping pills? Yes, but the ones I gave you last week are very strong. They don't work anymore. I think you'd better see Dr. Gordon. He's a psychiatrist. Dr. Gordon This room was hushed and beige. I hadn't washed my hair for 3 weeks. I hadn't slept for 7 nights. Your mother tells me you are upset. Suppose you try to tell me what you think is wrong. What did I think was wrong? That made it sound like nothing was really wrong. I only thought it was wrong. In a dull, flat voice, I told Dr. Gordon about not sleeping, and not eating, and not reading. See you next week, then. Well, Esther, how do you feel this week? The same. The same. He quirked an eyebrow, as if he didn't believe it. So I told him again, in the same dull, flat voice, only it was angrier this time because he seemed so slow to understand how I hadn't slept for 14 nights. And how I couldn't read or write or swallow. I lay down on the bed. Don't worry, the nurse grinned down at me. The first time, everybody's scared to death. Dr. Gordon was fitting 2 metal plates on either side of my head. He buckled them into place with a strap that dented my forehead. I shut my eyes. There was a brief silence, like an indrawn breath. Then something bent down and took hold of me and shook me like the end of the world. It shrilled through an air crackling with blue light, and each flash a great jolt struck me until I thought my bones would break. I wondered what terrible thing it was that I had done. I hadn't slept for 21 nights. I thought drowning must be the kindest way to die. I started to swim. When people found out my mind had gone, as they would have to, sooner or later, in spite of my mother's guarded tongue, they would persuade her to put me into an asylum where I could be cured. Only my case was incurable. And I thought of how my mother and friends would visit me day after day, hoping I would be better. Then their visits would slacken off. And they would give up hope. They would grow old. They would forget me. And so I stopped. I took a deep breath and listened to my heart. I am Yeah.